Hello and welcome to the Stashdown Diaries. My name is Jen and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about all of my knitting projects. And lately it's been a lot, although I don't know that I can share everything because some of it is gifts. Anyway, if you are new here, I am focusing on reducing my stash. And today, being the beginning of December, it's December 3rd, I get to do a Stashdown update for November. So yeah, I guess I'll start with that today. Also, if you're new here, I have 8-month-old kittens who like to wild out a little bit sometimes while I'm recording, and they are doing that today. So, and the dog is here too, but she is just laying on the futon and watching the kittens do their thing. Hopefully she won't start to participate, but if you hear any background noise, most likely kittens. So anyway, so I will get started with my November Stashdown update. Okay, so in November, I used up one scrappy ball of yarn, the one that I put into my northeasterly blanket. I did not write down how much was left in that ball. So I don't really know how much I used up. So I put down 15 grams, which I think is undercutting myself a little bit, but I'd rather undercut than overestimate on how much I used. So one ball completely gone, got to go into my Ravelry stash and click on all used up, which is always so satisfying. And then I knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 projects. So that came in at 574 grams out. And I purchased a kit for the Adventure Gnome. Is that what they call it? Well, it's No Matter What this year. For that Knitalong, the Mystery Gnome Knitalong, and that came in at 80 grams. And then I had to buy some flesh colored yarn for the mermaids that I'm going to knit for my nieces for Christmas. So that was 50 grams. And then my Christmas Eve cast on yarn that I purchased at Tracy's Rolling Yarn Shop, the Timber Yarns, that is 100 grams. So it was 230 grams in, which gives me a negative 344 grams. So I'm still doing really well. I don't foresee any purchases for the next month, although I do think there might be Christmas gift yarn. So where I'm at now for since last January, I'm at negative 3,750 grams, which is awesome. I'm wondering if I can get to negative 4,000 by the end of this year. This is going to be an ongoing stash down. This is not just for 2023 because I'm trying to reduce all the space, and like this room needs to be cleaned up again because every time I go to grab yarn for a project or something, it's just like a disaster area. So that'll be a kind of, I don't mind tidying up the yarn room. I like spending time in here. So that'll be a nice thing to do a little later, maybe with a glass of wine. Yeah, so that is the Stashdown update for November. So I do have one acquisition this week, but it is not yarn. I have kind of pledged to myself that I'm going to be knitting more garments in 2024. 2024 is going to be the year of the garment. And I wanted to get another sweater size project bag. And where else would I look besides Amy Beth of the Fat Squirrel Speaks? And her bag company is Fat Squirrel Fibers. I think she used to dye yarn and she just kept the name Fibers, but look at this. And I actually had a hard time choosing which one to get because her fabrics are always so fun. And I landed on this one, and the thing that sold me on it is that I just love that the deer's antlers are trees, and I love the colors, and I love this little guy, and I love this little guy, and I just, yeah, the whole aesthetic and the vibe I was looking for. It's like a Christmas bag, but more wintry, so I will be using it all winter. And this was a Christmas gift to myself. So this and the Gnome kit and the Timber Yarns was all Christmas gift to myself because I get something for myself every year. I don't always go down the yarny route, but this year I did. And I will be putting, I think, my Lopi yarn in here for that sweater. So I highly recommend Amy Beth's bags. Amy Beth has a YouTube channel, and she's one of the OGs that I've watched like ever since I found knitters on YouTube. So she's very enjoyable to watch. She does all kinds of crafty things, sewing obviously, knitting, spinning, and then like random other crafty stuff. So yeah, look at this. Love it. It's all, and they're all like, they're so sturdy. I just love them. So that was my acquisition for this week. So there's a reason why I'm wearing my hat today. Well, there's two reasons. One is that I'm having a bad hair day. It is what it is. And two, there was a Piper incident. She's not looking at me, so it's okay. She likes to chew things. I was hoping she would grow out of it by now, but she is who she is, and I try to accommodate the house as best as I can, but I missed a couple of things one day, and this was one of them. So she chewed a hole in it. I will put a picture right here. And I just did like a little bit of repair today. I wasn't super serious about it because where this is a muscle burrow hat, it is easy to hide. So you see it? It's right here. It's a very loosey-goosey, not very professionally done. I was not going for that, but I'm grateful that I can just hide it under the brim. So, and I was disappointed because this is my favorite hat, but now I'm happy that it's in a spot where I can hide it and just keep wearing the hat. So I was worried I was going to have to rip back and then re-knit it again because I still have a little ball left over, but it's like the ugliest bit of sewing ever in the history of sewing, but it does the trick. All I need is for it to not let any more stitches drop, and it's fine. So, and in a moment you will see something else that Piper chewed as I go on to talk about Advent Knitalongs. I didn't realize until yesterday that Arna and Carlos are doing a Advent Knitalong for a stocking. And of course, when I discovered it, I went into my stash. I had stuff. And the pattern, it's free to participate. They issue, I think 3 rows a day, but you have to do the toe. You do the toe, and then after that, starting December 1st, it's 6 rows a day. It's not a super beginner friendly pattern. Like so instead of telling you what kind of increase to do, they'll just say increase and you just pick one. I'm doing make one right and make one left. The cast on, they say you can do a long tail cast on or a closed toe cast on. I chose Judy's Magic cast on because if I did a long tail cast on, there'd be a hole and I'd have to deal with trying to make the hole in the toe look nice and you see my sewing skills. No thank you, no thank you. We'll do Judy's Magic cast on and we'll just go with it. And then it is color work, and so far the longest float is 5 stitches, which for me, I probably, since it's a stocking too and not something that anyone's going to be wearing, I will not bother catching the floats for that, I don't think. But so this was the other Piper incident. I had my cowl, a gifting cowl in this bag that I love. It was made by Art by Anna. And there was mohair. Piper normally does not attack my bags, my project bags with the knitting inside, but I don't know, the cats and her both have a thing for mohair. So she chewed a hole in the bag while I was at work and she pulled the mohair out the way she does with her stuffies. Like with the stuffing, she pulls it out bits at a time, just kind of dissecting them. So anyway, I might try to sew that or patch it on the inside or something. If you have any suggestions, I'd be happy to hear it, or I just might leave it. But anyway, this is the bag that my Erna and Carlos stocking is in. I have not yet knit today's 6 rows yet, so I will show you up until yesterday's, because I just cast this on yesterday and this is all like what I knit up, so I'm all caught up. And I'm using Briggs & Little yarn because it's abundant in my stash. And I really loved these colors. I like a very rustic, like kind of muted color palette for Christmas stuff usually. And this color is Briggs & Little Heritage in the Evergreen colorway, and there's tiny, I don't know, you can see it. See the little tiny flecks of red in there? It's really pretty and just goes with the whole, you know, stocking idea here. And I'm using, for the red, it is Briggs & Little Tuffy in the red mix colorway. If I don't have enough of this, then I will have to run down to the co-op and get another ball. And plus this is a color that I use for socks that I knit to sell. So I might have to replace this before the end of the month. So I gotta do a lot of knitting to make sure I get to that 4,000 mark. And then this color, instead of white, I opted to use the Briggs & Little Tuffy in the oatmeal colorway. I do have white, but that dark green and everything, I didn't want it to look too stark white, you know. So anyway, I'm really enjoying that. I saw just as I was setting up my phone that the notification came through that Arna and Carlos posted their video for today. I love watching them at Christmas time. I love all of the Nordic Christmas traditions and everything. It's just wonderful. And I kind of fell behind on Arna and Carlos, which I'm kind of sad about now because I ended up behind in the Gntalong, but I am watching them steady right now because Christmas content. And yeah, I know it's not for everybody, and this is a hard time of year for some people. It was for my family last year. I just kind of went through the motions last year of Christmas. I didn't really feel the spirit, and so I'm trying to make up for that this year. So watching a lot of vlogmases and everything, but yeah, anybody who's struggling this time of year, I totally hear you and see you, and I hope that you can find some peace or a little bit of light. Anyway, so check out this piece of handiwork. So this bag was made by me a few years ago. One week in the winter time, I had a lot of vacation, and I decided to do a makecation. So I did, I used to sew a little bit, and I'm going to get back into it. And seeing this, I think I really should get back into it and make myself some bags and stuff. But yeah, so I took the makecation, and I think that's when I made this one. It has like the Christmas tree lining, and it's just a knot bag that you stick through there, but it is unfinished. I did not do the hand sewing on this part. And then there's a couple of spots that need to be sewn right here where I didn't have the fabric folded over far enough. Like, I never said I was good at any other crafts besides knitting, but anyway. So this is for the mystery Gnome from Imagined Landscapes, Sarah. And yeah, here are my yarns. I have not yet knit today's. And I looked at it, but I haven't knitted it yet. But from 2 days ago, if you don't want to see the clue, look away for a sec. There's not much to it, though. This is what I've knit so far. And I have no idea. Yeah, if you don't want to see it, I took it down. Yeah, so it's not telling me anything. The next clue is kind of telling me something, but not really. So I'm working on that as well. I love the Advent knit-alongs because they're very affordable ways to take part in like a knit vent kind of thing without having to buy the expensive Advent calendars. Like, I know why they're expensive. They're very labor intensive. A lot of them have extras like pretty candles and stuff that go along with them. I didn't get one, well, for two reasons. One is the cost. I suppose I could have, if I really wanted one, I could have like saved the money to get one, but the second reason kind of overshadows that, which is I'm trying to get rid and knit through my little minis of yarn that are left over from socks and stuff. So the idea of bringing more minis into my stash was just no thank you, just no. So really enjoying, well, like the Arna and Carlos one I get to knit from Stash. I didn't need to buy anything for the Gnome one, but I wanted a little something, you know. And I loved that buffalo check Tweety yarn, and I think that's gonna make a great gnome. So yeah, if you're like me and you kind of avoided the yarn advent calendars, then the knit-alongs are a great way to go. The Arna and Carlos one, it's going to be paid for after December, I can't remember what they said, December 26th maybe? But, and it's all on their blog. So you go to their blog every day and get the latest rows to knit on. But anyway, so next, so speaking of gnomes, I had my Make Gnome Mistake gnome that I'm knitting as a little extra in a gift package, and so far it has a hat. Look how cute that is. I love the little mushroom. So I'm knitting this from leftovers. I'm not 100% sure what they all are, and it's living in my So Sandy So unicorn bag that I love so much. And yeah, so after I knit my Advent things, I'm probably going to start the body on this. Although there's another work in progress that I can't show that I'm working on, so I will probably work on that as well. Yeah, because I'd really like to get that one finished. So yeah, so that has a hat and it needs a body and a beard. The other thing I worked on, I've resurrected socks that I sell. I actually misplaced these for a little while. And I needed something mindless to work on at, was it at my staff meeting? Yeah, I needed something mindless. So this is the typical heavy sock pattern that I knit on. Oh, the lighting is weird. I had the blind up and then, but there was light coming in right on me. Maybe if Maisie stole my chair again this week, I would have sat there again, but where is she? Oh yeah, she's under my chair. They've calmed down now. They're all sleeping. Everybody. Ginny's in her usual spot in the kitty condo, and Maisie is in her usual spot under my chair, and Piper's in her usual spot on the futon. But anyway, so yeah, this is the heavy sock pattern. I knit it with Briggs and Little Tuffy, and then this is just Orange's Heritage. And it's Granite, Ecru, and then the orange is Hunter Orange, I believe. So yeah, I just knit these and then sell them to co-workers or search and rescue team members. And these socks I always keep in my Fringe Supply Co bag. This is the official bag of the heavy sock knitting. Those are all the whips that I can show you. I'm just gonna have a little drinky poo. Today I'm having Superfood Splash, I think, on David's tea. That's what my little note in my tea cupboard says, but because they're all in tins, they're not labeled. This was in the sheep tin, and but the note might not be up to date because this is me we're talking about. So I think it is though. Okay, I have two FOs. One I cast on since last week, but it was super fast. This is going to be a Christmas gift. Hopefully the recipient doesn't watch. I don't think the recipient watches my videos, but if I don't say who it is, then they won't know anyway. But this is the moose cap, and it is from the book Saltwater Classics. So I'm back to my saltwater Stashdown, and this is in the second round of saltwater Stashdown, so it counts, man, it counts. Plus, having knit this, I really want to knit one for myself, so there will be another one. Yeah, so it's from Saltwater Classics, a book by Christine LeGros and Shirley A. Scott. And the yarns that I used, so this one is Lismore Sheep Farm, and it's in like this black and red marl. And this one was one of my yarns from my 40th birthday yarn crawl, so I'm trying to work through those. And this was left over from a pair of socks that I knit, so I was glad to use this up. And then this blue navy is Briggs & Little Heritage. And then this gray is McGauslin's Woolen Mills. So I got the trifecta. The only thing missing is a Newfoundland yarn. So this is Nova Scotia, this is PEI, and this is New Brunswick. So that worked out kind of fun. But yeah, when I tried it on my head, I was like, oh yeah, I need one of these. And it's just like, I haven't blocked it yet, like soaked it. It'll soften up a bit more when it's soaked. I have woven in the ends. You can see them still dangling because I don't cut my ends until after I block or soak the item. Not really, I don't really block hats, like I don't like flat pin them out or anything. I just leave them to dry. So yeah, I love this. Anyway, and my final finished object. You saw this one last week. Mother, if you're watching and you don't want to see it, look away or turn the video off, because you've seen enough, I think. But like we know some of the things that we're each other getting. They called me the other day because paint was on sale at Home Hardware, and they know that I want to paint my room, so they wanted to get me a gallon of paint for Christmas. And they wanted to know if I had a color in mind or anything, so I just sent them the same color that I painted this room. And yeah, so I know I'm getting a gallon of paint. But anyway, this is it the Sugar and Spice Cal? No, Hot Spice Cider Cal. That was close, sort of. And it is by Helen Stewart, and it was with one of the Knit Femme patterns this year. And I love it. The ends are dangling, of course, because I didn't soak it yet, but it is so soft. I might not even soak it. I don't know. Might soak it in the lavender one just to give it a nice pretty scent. The yarns are Sugarbush Drizzle, which unfortunately Sugarbush is no longer producing yarn. And Diamond Tradition. So both yarns, of course, were from Stash. And the Diamond Tradition was actually like partial skein left over. I still have a little bit left. We'll see what I come up with to knit with that later on. I still don't know. So I am going to do the month of scrappy knitting in January. I think that's going to be fun. So I have my year of the garment. So I will still have a garment on the needles as well. I will always have a garment on the needles throughout 2024. And then the other months will just be, I'll probably come up with a theme for each month. I think January, February, March are figured out. So January is going to be the month of scrappy knitting. February is going to be works in progress. So I'm going to go back to some languishing whips and reassess whether or not I want to finish a frog and start finishing those. And then March, of course, is Malabrigo March, which is an event that takes place in the Malabrigo Junkies group on Ravelry. So yeah. So lately, I've been trying to binge local to me YouTubers who knit, and I'm all caught up with Knitted by Whitney, and highly recommend her channel. I think I mentioned last week that she does a lot of like plus size inclusive pattern roundups, but like you don't have to be plus size to enjoy those pattern roundups, because of course they're also in like the smaller sizes as well. So she has some that are like free patterns and different things. So yeah, I say so a lot. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But anyway, highly recommend Knit It by Whitney, and she's doing Vlogmas, and last year her Vlogmas was really enjoyable, but she does it like in a week. She doesn't do it daily. She does it like a week at a time, and it's great because you can sit down and knit and watch like a longer video. And she goes around to do Christmassy things, and it gets me in the spirit, as do all the other Vlogmases that I watch. Stitches and Starlight is doing a Vlogmas. I am so glad that she's back. Tashi, she went on hiatus for a little bit there, but she came back, I think, just before Rhinebeck. And then she had a Rhinebeck video. Now she's doing Vlogmas, and she's just wonderful to watch. Highly recommend her. And who else am I watching? Oh, now that I've caught up on Knit It by Whitney, I am now going through Lochprior Knits' videos, and she's also from Nova Scotia and very enjoyable to watch. She doesn't take herself too seriously, which I love watching knitters like that. So what else? So all the Vlogmases, like, so yeah, I mentioned Stitches and Starlight. I'm watching hers. I'm watching Nitty Natty, Crazy Sock Lady. And yeah, I'm not doing Vlogmas, but I do have a little end video that has some like Christmassy vibes going on. We had a light dusting of snow, and it looked really pretty, walking Piper through it. Very light dusting, but it stuck to the vegetation, so it was really pretty. We don't have snow right now, but I think we're getting snow tomorrow. Everybody thinks of Canada, it's like this wintry place, but Nova Scotia, I think on average, we have the highest temperature in Canada. Even though like southern BC has warmer temperatures and doesn't get a whole lot of snow, but I think BC, the northern part, like changes their average so that Nova Scotia comes out on top. But anyway, we're not snowy right now, but we'll be snowy tomorrow. But then I think it's going to rain, and then we won't be snowy again. And that's lately the last few winters how it's been going. And now I'm rambling on about the weather. So I am going to go, because that is all I have to talk about. And enjoy my little video with the kittens and Piper. I think that's all I have there. And I'm pretty sure I will be doing a recording next week, because I just wound up a bunch of yarn and I'm going to do some casting on this week, so I think I'll have stuff to talk about. So until next weekend, take care. Bye.